In the previous video, we started our object-oriented programming master test and we got the basic hamburger class up and going. So let's now finish this off and create the healthy burger class as well as the deluxe burger class. So firstly, let's create the healthy burger. I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to call that healthy burger. Now what we need to do is we need to extend from our basic burger class, which is hamburger, because we need some of that functionality. And if you recall, we need to add two additional extras. We've got the ability with the healthy burger to add two additions to that burger. Just to go back and confirm that. Our healthy burger, this part here, healthy burger on a brown rye, I should say, bread roll plus two additional items can be added. Healthy burger can have a total of 6 items, and there was a hint that I gave you to say you probably want to process the 2 additional items in this new healthy burger class, not in the base class, since the 2 additional items are really only available in this healthy burger. So let's do that. So consequently, we need to add two fields, I should say, to this class, and they're going to be private string, and we'll call them healthy extra, and we'll call it healthy extra 1 name, and private double healthy extra 1 price, and we'll do the same for those two for the second addition for the burger. And incidentally, the error on the screen is because we haven't implemented a constructor yet, no default constructor, and that's because the only constructor we created in the hamburger class actually had parameters, which you can see there. We didn't have an empty one. So consequently, we need a way to actually call that method. Now we're going to do things a little bit different here. Whoops, I typed that, I made a typo there. Whoops, healthy. And what we're going to do is we actually, with the constructor, we know the type of burger that we're actually working on. We've got a healthy burger. We know the name of it, and we know the type of bread. So consequently, when we're creating constructor, the only 2 parameters we want in the constructor is the meat and the price, because we're actually going to hard code the values for the name and the type of brown bread, or in this case, the type of roll, because that's what's in this healthy burger. That's what we're selling. So creating the constructor. Now, I'm not actually going to choose any of these extras because none of these extras are actually going into the constructor. But if I click on OK, I actually get the parameters that are built into the base class automatically because they're needed to make this healthy burger class valid. But what I'm going to do, as I mentioned, I'm going to delete some of these. Firstly, the healthy one, I should have selected none there. I obviously selected the healthy extra 1 name by mistake, so I'm going to leave that out. Delete that. And really the only parameters I actually want, as I mentioned, are the meat and the price, because the other 2 we're going to add manually. So I'm going to delete those, like so. And our super call is we still need to actually pass those 2 parameters, but I'm going to actually change that and put the name. We're going to call it our healthy. And the bread roll type, we mentioned before, that was going to be brown rye. So we're going to say brown rye. So that's us creating a valid healthy burger class now based on those parameters because we know the type of burger that we're creating. And for the 2 additions, we need to do very similar to what we did for the other ones. So we want to put public. We'll put add health addition 1. And that's going to have the name and the double for the price. And it'll be this dot healthy 1 extra name equals name. This dot healthy 1 extra price equals price. And do the same for the second healthy additional item. Like so. Okay, I'll make a bit of space here. So that's our basic setup for the healthy burger. The other thing we want to do now is we need to have a look at that itemized hamburger method. So if we go back to our hamburger class, we had this itemized hamburger method. And that, of course, actually summed up the total for the hamburger. But if you think about it now, we've got 2 additional items that we can optionally add. So right now, if we run this healthy burger, it'll actually work. So if we change this and we'll put healthy burger and we'll call it healthy burger equals new new healthy burger. And remembering that we've only got 2 items to add here. That's the meat. And we'll say this one's got bacon, and let's just say the price is $5.67. So if we do our healthy burger dot itemize hamburger, if we run this, we can see we've got a healthy hamburger on a brown rye roll with bacon. Price is $5.67. So it's accepted our parameters, obviously the name, then the type of bread roll in our constructor. That's all working fine. And we will be able to add an item to that quite nicely as well. Healthyburger.add additional item 1. And let's just say that was egg. And we're a greedy restaurant, so we'll say it's $5.43. And actually what I'll do is I'll remove that out of there and just paste it into there like so. So that if we run that, we should see that that is still working. And the reason that it's working is our base functionality built into the application is built into the base class, I should say, the hamburger class is working. So those methods that we created in the base hamburger class are still there and works quite nicely. But the issue, of course, now is we haven't got a mechanism to tally up the price. We can actually add an item to the hamburger, to the healthy hamburger. So healthyburger.add additional price, and let's just say it's lentils. Not why you'd want lentils with a hamburger, but anyway, $3.41 for argument's sake, just add the 1. But there's no mechanism at the moment to add that to the cost, the total price for the hamburger. And the reason is we haven't got an itemized hamburger method for this class yet. So let's go back to the healthy burger class and actually add an itemized hamburger method so that we can actually tally up the price for these additional health items as well. So to do that, what we want to do is we want to override that class, override that method. So we're going to click on override or select override. We're going to go to hamburger and go to the itemize hamburger method, and we're going to override that. Click OK. So by default, that's come back with the super.itemize hamburger and returning that as the price. We want to change that because what we want to do is we want to actually put a double. We'll put hamburger price again. Price equals. So what this is doing now is actually calling the itemize hamburger method that's in our hamburger class. It's calling that, and that's coming back with the price, the itemized price for the basic hamburger and the 4 additions. So that's what we've got to start with. Then now what we need to do is we need to figure out how to add the extra items to that price, which turns out that's quite simple. We can actually just do the similar test that we did in the hamburger class. This dot healthy extra name is not equal to null. Then we do a hamburger price plus equals this dot healthy extra 1 price, and then I think we put added extra 1 name plus for an extra this dot healthy extra price 1 like so, and I'll just cancel that so I've got a bit more space. We can see what we're doing here. So that was number 1. We've added that, and then of course we'll do the same for the second healthy additional option. So if extra 2 is not equal to null, which means there is one that has been one passed to us, we'll actually output the second name, the second price. And then at this point we can do a return hamburger price, which should be the price including the healthy extras. So now if we go back, and what we'll do is we'll actually change this. We'll actually put the itemized hamburger at the end there. So you don't need to display it twice. So we're now actually adding a normal item, an additional normal item. Then we're also adding a healthy addition as well. We're itemizing, and then let's actually just put an output here just to make sure that the price seems to be working. Total healthy burger price is plus healthy burger price, and fix the brackets up. So now if we run that, we can see now we've got healthier hamburger on right, price is $5.67, added an egg for an extra $5.43, added lentils for an extra $3.41, which you can see is now working, and the price is $14.51. And if we just use our calculator to make sure that's working, 567 plus 543 plus 341 equals 14.51. So our pricing is working great. So you can see now that we've actually got our healthy burger working nicely and calling the appropriate functions. Okay, so what we now need to do is implement the deluxe burger. And if you recall the deluxe burger, we'll go back and just have a look at our notes for that again. For the deluxe burger, comes with chips and drinks as additions, but no extra additions are allowed. So you need to find a way to automatically add these 2 new additions at the time the deluxe burger is created, or the object is created, and then to prevent other additions being made. So let's go ahead and do that. What we're going to do is create another class and call that deluxe burger. And we're going to extend from hamburger. Like so. Now we don't actually need any new fields for this because we're not processing any new additions for this like we did for the healthy burger. But what we want to do is create a default constructor with no parameters. We're going to put everything in the one constructor. So we're going to create that. And again, by default, it adds those, but we're going to remove those. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do these manually. So we're going to call it the deluxe. For the meat, let's say it's got sausage and bacon, because it is a deluxe. Price, let's just say it's $14.54, and we'll say white for the bread roll type. So that's now created our deluxe burger. And we also mentioned that we needed to add 2 additions, which were the chips and the drink. Now, we don't want to enable those methods later, but what we can do is we can put those in the constructor. And we can do that by putting super.add hamburger edition 1 chips. Let's just say they were $2.75. And super.add add hamburger edition 2. And we'll put drink, whatever the drink was, $1.81. So that's our way of creating the deluxe burger with the additions at the time the object is created. Now the other thing we want to do, because by default, if we actually go to run this, we should find that it'll work. And we'll call this the deluxe burger, db equals new deluxe burger. No parameters are needed. And if we then do a db.itemize hamburger, if we run that, we should find that works. The deluxe hamburger on a white roll with sausage and bacon, price is $14.54. Added chips for an extra $2.75. Added drink for an extra $1.81. And notice how they were added in the constructor. But the problem we've got now is, again, going back to the code up above, we needed a way to make sure that, actually I'll delete that so I can do more space, but no extra additions are allowed. So in other words, we can't add anything else other than what's already in there. But at the moment, if we go back here and have a look, we can actually add those. We can put db.add additional item 1 should not do this. So we can actually do that. And of course that violates the rule that we've set for ourselves. Actually what I should have done is made that additional item 3, but then it should also have displayed that in the right place like that. So if you run that, we've got this line here. We shouldn't have been able to do that. So the question is, how do we prevent those methods from being called just for the deluxe burger method? Well, it turns out that's actually quite easy. We can actually override. So what we can do is we can go back here to our deluxe burger class and we can put override, and we can go back to our hamburger class and I can select the add additional item 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I can actually prevent those from being called by overriding those methods. So I can click on OK, and that's added those. And what we're going to do is just change the code. We're not going to call the super. We're actually just going to put a message there. The message is going to be cannot add additional items to a deluxe burger. Like so. So we've now added that one for each of the 4 addition methods that were in the base hamburger class. We've overridden those functions, those methods, just in the deluxe burger class. So consequently now if I go back to our main and run this again, so you can see what's happened there. We've still been able to create the class and to add the chips and the drinks initially. And the reason that that works is if you look back at our deluxe burger code, we're calling the super.add hamburger additional item method. So that's why that's working. So we're actually calling the methods that are in the hamburger class, in the base hamburger class, these here. And it's quite happily adding those because we're calling that from the, calling super dot and whatever the name of the method is. But in this case, what we're saying is we're actually overriding the add hamburger addition 1 method for the deluxe burger class, but we're actually not enabling that code to be called. So consequently, when we try to do this, this should not do this. It's calling this code here from our deluxe burger, the add additional item 1, cannot add additional items to a deluxe burger, and that's what's coming up on the screen here. So that's how you go about overriding it and preventing functionality from being processed, as you can see in that example. So that's our application. That's our base hamburger application. I hope you've got a lot out of this, out of these 2 videos, and actually for these last 2 sections of the object-oriented course. And I hope you did well with your challenge as well. In the next section of the course, we're going to be talking about arrays, which I'm sure you're going to find very useful. So I'll see you in that next section.